What is up, everyone? We are back today with another video. This is another post from the Neville subreddit called Everything is Neutral by Nature. And personally, I've come to this realization before, and there's in particular one experience that I had at a music festival. It was more of like it wasn't exactly a music festival, but I'm drawing a blank on the name of the festival I went to, but I will get into that a bit later. Here is the post. Do you sometimes wonder if you'll be able to manifest that $100,000 check? Or maybe you wonder if it's possible to manifest losing weight while eating what you want. If you are someone that wonders if your desire is too big to manifest, I'm here to tell you that there is truly no such thing. Source/God/ all that is neutral by nature. That means every desire is equal in its eyes. Neutrality is impartiality. Your I am awareness doesn't judge your desires, it is impartial to them. That means if you can physically manifest a ladder, then you can physically manifest the life of your dreams. It's the ego and the human conditioning that make us think otherwise. Be it a ladder or $1 million. It's simply just an experience to your I am, nothing more and nothing less. So please take your desire off the pedestal and make having your desire feel as natural as possible to you now. Imagine it and visualize it every single day until the feeling becomes natural. Then you know you're in the sweet spot. Fold the linear/horizontal experience in half and walk into that new reality. Do it while you're driving. Do it while you're washing dishes. Do it while you're walking in the park. Commune with it. You aren't delusional for believing in the law. What is delusional is thinking you don't have the whole world in your hands because you do. So before you start doubting and spiraling out of control, look back on the things you've been able to manifest, no matter how small. Be it a free cup of coffee or a perfect test score or a small amount of money. And if you can manifest that, you can manifest your car, condo, great body, and a fat check just as easy as you manifest those things, because everything is neutral by nature. And so we got some posts here, some replies. This is what transcending humanity means after all. If you were a god, you would be able to have everything everywhere all at once. You don't have desires anymore because you already have them. You would have everything. So what would be left to desire? Nothing. Just enjoy the ride. So a couple more replies, and then I'll give you guys, like I said, my own story with this. So this is exactly why I think many people overcomplicate the feeling state of the end. Once you have something, you are rational, rather neutral and content. You aren't necessarily wildly excited or overjoyed. Sure, joy and pleasure, and I've discussed this before. This is one of the powerful things about robotic affirming, is that you aren't necessarily wildly excited. Normalizing something and feeling it natural that's why robotic affirmations help, because you take the emotion out of it and it is simply matter of fact, casually, just the way that it is, what you're proclaiming, that you are calm, that you are relaxed, that you are a confident person, you have confident body language, and every single thing that you do is in perfect alignment with that confident person that you are, and people receive it that way. Anyways, sure, joy and pleasure will be experienced alongside many emotions, but the end state is natural and neutral. It's a sigh of relief. We've had those sigh of relief posts in the past as well. You can check for them on the channel here. So it's important to know that you can manifest in any emotion or vibe, but the crucial part is, as you said, taking it off the pedestal as it is already yours and embracing the neutral state that it is finished, it's been yours the whole time. Right, you have access to it. You're just kind of like pulling it from the ether. It's already in existence, this new state, this new reality, this new timeline where you have your desire and you're just like pulling it, or you're composing reality, as Vadim Zeland says in Tupti the Priestess. You can do it, you can overlay it onto reality. I had somebody comment that about when they were driving in their truck, especially driving at night, it was easy for them to overlay that experience with, they have a brand new truck. They're driving in their new truck. Okay. I think a good way to think of it is that God, source, the universe, your I am awareness, etc., are unconditionally loving. They love you no matter what. There are no emotion conditions on your desires. Anything you want is perfect and you can have. So if there are any doubts, it's coming from your ego, not them. I think a good way to feel comfortable about your desires is to personalize the universe or whatever and imagine a loving being embracing you and telling you that your desire is wonderful and amazing and will be done no matter what. Thank you for this post. I needed this reminder today. I quite often label my desires. I think that that's amazing advice right there. I think you're right. I used to fight anything like that because it wasn't technically correct. But you know what? Sometimes it's okay to just make life a bit easier. Personalize the universe, use symbols, etc., whatever, to make it easier, just be without resistance. And I've had this thought before. I think I've mentioned this in other videos too, but I think a lot of the time, people that are spiritual, people that are maybe religious, people that allow an outside power, they give, whether it's their guardian angel, like in Transurfing, or a god that you pray to, one of the gods. You know, a lot of religions, a lot of ancient cultures, almost all of them around the world, regardless of where, were polytheistic. And until monotheism came with the major three religions, monotheistic religions taking over, everywhere that you go, they had these different gods that they worshipped. And there can be a lot of kind of power in allowing some god or some deity or something, like they've said here, that, what did they say? Embracing you, telling you that your desire is wonderful and will be done. That's kind of working with the mind, working with awareness to say that, hey, this is being done. It's being taken care of. There's no need for me to exert so much of my own pressure on this because I'm allowing it to be done for me. I'm allowing the universe or God or source or whatever resonates with you. It could be, like I said, some Thoth. You could pray to some God that resonates with you. That they're taking care of it for me and that it will be done. And regardless of whether you're logical, like, it doesn't matter. Like, this isn't about logic, like this person said. This is about what makes it easier. What is making this process easier for you to just be without resistance to the thing? And I think that there's a lot of power in that. And if you look at a lot of people, and there's various levels of this, right? Because on some hands you see people, and religion has been a thing that has caused a lot of pain in the world. And I want to, you know, that that is true. And there's that side of it, right? There's the side of how it's made us more detached from each other and divided us. But then there's this other side of it where people that are religious or devoted or spiritual in this way, they're able to allow that higher power that they believe in to then benefit them and guide them in a positive way. It's something that I've noticed that in a lot of Mormon communities, first of all, Mormons are very hardworking. This based on my own personal experience. I used to do sales with a lot of Mormons. I'm not speaking about everybody, right? This is just something that I've noticed from my personal experience. In a lot of their communities, they are very organized, and they have like the architecture, and they keep it very clean, very organized. And it's kind of like this hive mind that I think can exist with certain of these communities that believe in God or a higher power, where because they're all tapped in and they're all kind of focusing on this harmonious energy, and they're all kind of like I said, a hive mind, like a beehive. That's how bees are able to become organizational, and they build these incredibly intricate honeycombs, right? And it's kind of like they're allowing that power that they believe in to kind of work through them and allow them to create these kind of beautiful neighborhoods, beautiful living areas. And I've been around in Utah, Arizona, to different various communities where a lot of Mormon people live, and that's just something that me and my girlfriend have noticed, is that they consistently are able to kind of have like beautify the areas that they tend to populate. There's a lot of the architecture in Utah where there's a lot of concentration of them. The architecture is very beautiful. It's very high end. They've kind of cultivated that as that pleasing to look at aesthetic and kind of like that high standard for what it is that they're creating over there. And it reminds me, oddly enough, of a beehive, which is a hive mind, which is that they are all working together for the greater good of the community, right? Just some food for thought. And I'm not saying that this is a hard and fast thing at all. Like, I'm not trying to create any sort of stereotype with it or anything. It's just something that I've noticed through my experience, just anecdotally, and something that I thought I would share because it was just a conversation that came up with us the other day. But this whole idea of allowing this kind of higher power to then work through you so that you were kind of divinely inspired, you get that divine intuition. That's how you're able to, get that intuition, allow the creative source to work through you. And it takes the pressure off of you just as a human being that, look, I don't have to figure every single thing out. I'm not God, but God is working through me, right? And like I said, whether you're religious or not, it can be a useful tool in your arsenal of being able to kind of tap in to source energy and your intuition. So, right. Now, like I said before, there was a festival that I had gone to. It's in Southern California, and I can't think of the name of it right now. But I had an experience actually on mushrooms. I've heard of people refer to this before as the ego death. And it kind of was just like I saw my entire life from start to finish, and having accomplished everything that I'd ever wanted to accomplish. And it was kind of played out for me in this way that's just kind of like, some of these desires that I've wanted ever since I was very young. And I saw my entire life, like I said, playing out with every single thing I'd ever wanted so bad that I wanted like this, and tend to get like this sometimes about certain desires. And it was just kind of like, okay, and what's the big deal? Like, so what if you accomplished all these things? So what if you were able to do this? And it was kind of just like this, very, very much in line with what they're saying here, that it's all neutral. And regardless of any level of fame, fortune, opportunities that one might get in life, it's all neutral. Like, why do we pedestalize these things so much? Because ultimately, we're going to pass on through this realm. And, one could argue that on a spiritual level, that there is something to be said about leaving an impact on the earth. And I think that there is, for sure. But at the same time, and not to be fatalistic here, but if you think about that, and if you think about, look, we're all going to die one day, we come to this world alone, we're going to leave it alone. Why do we get so white knuckling on these kind of things that when you look at it through the grand scheme of things, it's kind of all just like, okay, or what is that going to really accomplish? If I get this car, or if I have this mansion, or if I have this or that, or any of these worldly desires. And it can be, I think it can be a valid exercise to do, just to understand that everything in life is fleeting. There is no, our human nature is such that we will always be desiring more and more. And at the same time, it's like, you should strive for those things. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I think that you should. But having that approach where you've taken them off the pedestal, not only is it healthier, but it's also you're more likely to get those things. There's always, what comes to mind is in dating, the more that somebody wants that person, the more that they chase that person, the more that person runs away. And it's just it's kind of like that with your desires as well. It's the more that you go at it from this approach, the less likely that those desires are going to manifest. The people that always are able to achieve the goals, whether it's the money or whether it's the partner or whether it's the whatever they're going for, are the ones that are kind of just a little bit take it or leave it. You always see the guy with the girl who just doesn't really care that much, right? He's just kind of whatever, and he gets the girl, right? It's not the guy that's chasing down the girl, and it's not the guy that's like this in the fucking computer, frantically scrambling around to make money that gets the money, right? It's the guys that are, or the women that are more kind of casual about it, kind of carefree about it, kind of like, yeah, you know, I'm doing this, I have this, and this is what's happening, right? Anyways, an interesting take, interesting post, and I thought that it was kind of like all the little kind of topics around this that it made me think about. Maybe that'll connect some dots for you guys. Maybe it will, maybe it kind of gives you guys a perspective, like sharing some of my insights and thoughts that I've had about this, that the neutrality and the more that you can be devoid of emotion is kind of more of that observer mode. It's kind of more of that godlike state that I've talked about. And when you look at shows and you see the characters that are able to control their emotions, then they're able to remain in the, like I talk about, on the pendulum scale, instead of being overly excited, instead of being overly anxious and fearful, they're just like this. They remain calm and centered the whole time. Like Tommy Shelby is a good example on Peaky Blinders, Raymond Reddington on Blacklist. They're able to then control the situations around them. Harvey Specter as well on Suits. Everybody around them is getting all emotional and frantic and frazzled, and because they're remaining unaffected and they're not making these things overly important. They're not going over the edge with their emotions. That calm and centered approach allows them to control the situations around them. So, you know, Eckhart Tolle talks about this as well. There's a lot of spiritual teachers, almost everybody kind of covers this, from Lao Tzu to the Stoic philosophy. Everybody, this is something that is just, it's a truth that the more that we can adopt this and understand this and enter into that neutral state about things, robotically affirm what it is that we want, kind of go about our life in this way that is a little bit more detached, a little bit disidentified with this character that we're playing in this 3D world. Treat it like a video game. Treat it like this character, you are observing it, and that is the character that you're playing, right? And you are now able to see situations more objectively. And it's a practice, it's an ongoing practice that you keep doing this and you keep tapping in and allow that divine energy, or whatever resonates with you, allow yourself to be divinely inspired, to take that in divinely inspired action. And that's where you're gonna have that harmony of action and inspired action, where now you are working in alignment with source energy. You're working in alignment, you're experiencing synchronicities because you're being guided almost to those things. And that's what a lot of people are talking about. A lot of these success stories we've gone over lately, the person having the success with an Amazon best-selling book, the person with the 6 figures, the people that are kind of just, I had a few SP manifestation success stories that I went over recently. And it's like, they're just allowing that natural energy to guide them in their actions, but taking steps along the way. And it's a balance of doing that. Because otherwise you're just hitting your head against the wall. And we don't want either. We don't want just sitting on the couch, and we don't want hitting our head against the wall. We want moving, but with that divine inspired action towards our goals and allowing that to fuel us and guide us on the way there. So anyways, guys, much love as always. If you found this video helpful, drop me with a like, hit me with a comment, hit me with a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.